USA Today once asked the question, is the Patriots' secret weapon their character coach? With a record of 225 wins and 79 losses over the past 19 seasons, the New England Patriots have won a total of 6 Super Bowls and have appeared in 9 en route to becoming the NFL's most dominant team. And they are the NFL's only team with a full-time character coach on their roster. In a world where Inc. magazine now reports that 85% of American job applicants lie on their resumes, and where the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and CBS News now reports that 75% of employees steal from the workplace, and most do so repeatedly, why would the NFL's most successful head coach, Bill Belichick, be the only head coach that has decided to invest in the hiring of a full-time character coach? On today's show, the former Super Bowl winning Patriots character coach, Jack Easterby, shares about what makes Patriots captain Matthew Slater such a valuable teammate, the coaching mastery and intelligence of head coach Bill Belichick, the power of self-reflection, the importance of being intentional about whom you surround yourself with and whom you spend your time with, how he organizes the first 4 hours of every day, his favorite book recommendations, and much, much more. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my interview with former New England Patriots character coach, Mr. Jack Easterby.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrivetime Show.
Now, 3, 2, 1, here we go!
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here.
Yes, 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 and yes. Thrive Nation, on today's show, I am super honored to interview today's guest. This is the former character coach for Bill Belichick, Coach Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, Mr. Jack Easterby. Welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm great, Clay. Man, I'm excited to be here. I'm thankful for you guys having me on, and just blessed to continue to learn together and grow and try to make a little bit of a difference here.
Well, you and I share the same faith, and so I'm very excited to hear a guy like you who's outspoken about character, and I think a lot of our listeners are wondering, what is a character coach? Can we start there? What is a character coach, and what was your role on the Patriots during these past 5 years?
Yeah, well, I think, when you are any business or any organization, you try to do the right thing for the group that you're with. And I think for the evolution of 50, if you look at all the Fortune 500 companies or Major League Baseball or any big companies, you're dealing with the needs of people. And so what the evolution of character coaching has kind of come into is that people have needs, right? We're we're human beings, not human doings. And so people have needs, and they have needs that need to be taken care of weekly, monthly, yearly. And so my job is to service the needs of the humans, the people side of the business, and to make sure that we're out in front of any leadership or potential bumps or issues, leadership challenges that may be out there for our players or coaches or our staff. And so it's been an honor to serve and learn and do anything we can help do, be the glue of the team.
Now, I think a lot of people might say, character coach, is that even a position? I think a lot of people are looking at their roster of their favorite team right now going, character coach? I don't see a character coach on our team. What was your professional path to becoming the Patriots character coach?
Yeah, that's interesting. So I, first of all, I would just say growing up as an athlete, I always loved team. I always loved being with teammates. I loved being on teams. I played multiple sports, as many people did growing up, and just always loved being around the team, whether that's team meals or it's team building or it's hanging out with your team at birthday parties when you're little.
Yeah.
I always loved being around the team. And so my professional career was a bunch of different things, but they always centered around team. I played sports in college at Newberry College, and then left there and went and worked for the Jacksonville Jaguars in salary cap, which was just a way to learn about team, how a team is constructed and how a team is built. And then I left there and went to South Carolina and worked as the campus director for character at South Carolina and worked with a bunch of teams. And my goal there was to build teams. So I did team building exercises, and we had Bible studies on campus, and we did leadership for athletes and field trips for athletes to meet athletes they looked up to and those types of things. And so it was always about building the team. And then when I went to Kansas City, it was about finding ways to build team and serve Scott Pioli in that role there. And then with the Patriots, the same thing. So my professional path, I would say there's been different facilitators of that, but for me, it's always been about the team. It's always been about trying to help the team, to do right by the team, and to build into the team. And the current title is character coach, but it's about the team.
I'm sorry to hop around and to not be linear, but I'm just so curious about so many things you're saying here. Take us back to your childhood, how you were raised. How were you raised, and how has that impacted who you are today?
That's a great question. I think our childhood impacts all of how we are today, whether it's good, bad, and different, or it's just in the way and the shaping of your parents or grandparents or guardians, whoever raised you. You know, I would say the two greatest insertions in my life, the two greatest things that I was given as a combination were love and truth. And for me personally, I think that love and truth as a combination is what grows the human soul. And so I was blessed to have a great relationship with two greatest generation grandparents who I spent a lot of time at their house growing up, and they inserted love and truth from a faith-based prism to me at telling me they love me, but also telling the truth about decisions I was making or principles that they believed would be timeless. And then my parents, the same way. My mom was a banker, my dad was a counselor, and I heard from them love and truth, whether it was the circumstances of playing on a field or it was going to youth group or being a part of all-star teams. I always heard love and truth. And so I think for me, if I could say anything to parents or leaders out there, if you're shaping youth or you're shaping young people, to me, the insertion of love and truth as a combination, as a 1-2 punch, that's what people need, whether you're 50 years old or whether you're a 12-year-old playing Little League Baseball. You need love and truth. You need to be unconditionally loved, and you need to be told the truth even when it hurts.
Let's get competitive for a second here. I have 5 kids. Now, how many kids are you going to go for? What's the max number of kids you're looking to have?
So I'm at 2 right now, but the shot clock's not out.
Okay,
so
okay.
I'm at 2. If we're competing, I'm behind, but the clock's not out.
Oh, my clock is out. So my clock is out. Various things have been done. So my wife and I have been married 18 years, and she said, you got to go see whoever about that thing, and then we're done. So I'm done. But are you thinking like 5 kids, 4 kids? What's the number?
I don't know. You know, it's interesting. You put some pressure on me with that one. We've talked about adoption. My wife and I we've always loved foster parenting, and we got 2 beautiful girls. My girls are going to be, I always say, the first girls to win the Miss America pageant in full-body wetsuits, right? Because
that's right.
I'm going to never let them wear a bathing suit in front of a guy.
There we go. Amen.
No, I'm just kidding. We love children. My wife is a teacher by nature, and so I could see us adopting a couple more. But if the race is to 5, I think I'm gonna let you have that one.
All right, I appreciate that. I get 1 mega point right there. So even though I might be losing other categories, 1 point for me. That's great. Now, you talk about your career playing as a player. Newberry College. How good were you as a athlete? And what position did you play?
Yeah, so I played basketball and golf, and I was blessed to win. We played for a championship in both. We won the championship in golf. We did not win it in basketball. We lost in the finals of our championship. But yeah, I was good. I mean, I was good enough. I competed. I was a role player in basketball, and in golf, I was one of the better players on the team relative to starting and being in the top 5 and going to all the tournaments. But I wouldn't say that they were naming buildings after me or anything there, but I participated, and I would say my time as an athlete, the thing that I learned most is we had 6 coaches in 4 years for 2 different sports. And so, getting to know a lot of transition and getting a chance to meet people that were in and out of my life as leaders that did it different ways. And some were barkers and some were servers and some were, strategists and some were people guys. And so I think just learning different transitions and having a transition through people was a huge advantage to me in my college playing career, because if you think about it, so many people learn one way, and that
Right.
one way may not be reduplicatable in a different circumstance. So for me, man, it's really been, college was really a great set the table moment for me to be able to learn transition and leadership.
My partner and I, we've built 13 multi-million-dollar companies between the two of us. He's 54 and has 3 kids, and I'm 38 and have 5 kids. And about 18 years ago, I began this obsession with Coach Belichick, and it was beyond, just football. It's the philosophy of management. And I'm obsessed with it. We actually named a room in our building, in our 20,000 square foot facility, the Bill Belichick room. It has the nameplate on there and everything. So I'm obsessed with Coach Belichick. And is he a perfect human? No. But I just love the principles and the philosophies and the culture. And I know that a lot of it is, it's kind of behind closed doors. And I'm not asking to paint you into a corner or ask you stuff you can't share. But what did it feel like to work on the Patriots organization and to be a part of one of the most winning organizations over a 2-decade span of any organization in professional sports history? What did it feel like to work with Coach Belichick and the Patriots?
Well, I would say it was a complete privilege. Every day, every minute, every hour, I took pages and pages and pages of notes. Bill is one of the smartest people I've ever interacted with. His mind is a gift from God. He has a tremendous analytical mind that can be used in so many different ways to lead people and put them in the best situations to be successful. I think he knows people's gifts well. He knows what they do well, what they don't do well. And he's just got an amazing gift. He cares for people. The perception some people always share with me about what they think in the media is just not the truth. Bill has been amazing to me and my family, and I'm so thankful for him. And it was really a life-changing experience for me to work for him, and I'll still maintain that relationship the rest of my life. And, anyway, so I think that it was an honor. It was a privilege, and I'm just eager to see as I continue to grow, how many of these lessons I'm going to put right into practice, because he truly changed my life. And the Patriots, the way the Patriots operate, in my small piece in that, really helped me to become better, the best version of myself.
I have one Patriots Bill Belichick story that you don't know, but it happened during your tenure, okay? So here we go. My mother-in-law was a flight attendant for JetBlue. And they hop on the mic, they make the announcement. They say,
ladies and gentlemen, we have a mom who wants to sit with her child. If anyone's willing to move, we'd like to make room so that the child can sit with her mother.
They make that announcement several times. And Jack, it starts to get awkward, because they're doing it again.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to if someone would like to volunteer, we're trying to make room here for a mother to sit with her daughter.
And nobody's moving on a JetBlue plane. Nobody's moving. And guess who gets up and moves? It's Bill Belichick. He gets up and moves. And no one knows who he is until everyone discovers who he is, because no one moves. So he moves, doesn't make a big deal about it. And my mother-in-law, the way she tells the story, apparently people start going, oh, my gosh, that's Bill Belichick. He's moving his seat. And people kind of start clapping, and they're like getting all excited for the guy. And apparently he does these kinds of things all the time, but he doesn't like to get up there and, hop on social media and talk about it. Could you brag on Coach Belichick or something maybe that was I'm not asking you to share a secret, but the kind of things that he would do behind the scenes where you would go, I'm proud to work with that guy.
Yeah, I could give you hours and hours of stories. My phone would go dead.
Okay.
Just because of the intentionality. The one word that I always say about Bill when I think of his leadership is intentionality. Yeah. I think there's nothing better to say about a leader than he intentionally did that. And whether that's how he's reciprocated his investment in Navy and what they meant to his father, or whether that's how he's invested in his children and his now grandchildren. I think his wisdom of the investment of intentionality is you think about what most people do with success, right? What do they do with it? When you get successful, what do you do?
Yeah.
And I would say when you get successful, it shows a lot about who you are. And so Bill has been extremely intentional with his success. He gave, I'm sure you saw the Rich Eisen thing, where
Yeah.
he gives to Rich Eisen every year at the Combine about what he's thankful for
Yeah.
Rich and how Rich makes a difference through St. Jude there. So I just think that the word that comes to mind beyond a specific story is intentionality. And, man, I'm blessed. We're so blessed to have the overlap, and I'm proud to call him friend.
You know, and I hate to have to preface every question, but you know how it is. You guys are in the limelight, and so I'm sure you've been on interviews before where there's always somebody trying to trick you into some question, you know, some headline thing. So that's not my goal, and I just met you, so I'm just prefacing all this.
Is that what happens?
Well, you know,
is that what happens?
You know, I feel bad for some of these players. You know, some of these players are doing interviews, and someone's trying to trick them into it. They take one line. You know how it is, and it's unfortunate. And so our podcast is a long format show, and I've been doing this for years. So, but I just want to preface this. There's a lot of players that get a bad rap. You know, there's all sorts of statistics you'll see where it says 8 out of 10 NFL players go bankrupt, you know, within 5 years of retiring or 2 years, you know. And that's like a shocking headline. You know, people go, "Oh my gosh, wow." Well, I'm a business coach. I'm a consultant. I own businesses and I coach businesses. And I'll just let everybody know, 9 out of 10 startups fail. So, I mean, actually more people fail as a startup business owner than NFL players. But talk to me about working with a player and some of the character, I wouldn't call them issues, but character coaching opportunities that you see. Because a lot of these players, you know, come from broken homes. A lot of them come from two-parent families. Some don't. What does coaching look like on a daily basis with these players? What kind of things do you go over? And again, I'm not looking for any specifics or any specific players, but what kinds of things do you talk to players about?
Well, let's think about it like this. So you made a great point there on your analogy of that data. I think here's what I would say. Let's start with this, right? For every single person, and this includes non-athletes, but my specific calling is with athletes, is we're not necessarily born winners or losers, but we are born choosers. And I would say making choices is going to determine how your life begins to unfold, and the choices that you make will ultimately make you. And so what I believe is that my work with them is almost strategically and specifically centered around them being a better decision maker. So, for example, okay, you are getting ready to navigate NFL. Like, who are the people that are going to do this with you, okay? And so we do a circles exercise, for example, and we say, okay, who are the top 3 people in your life? Who are the top 10 people in your life? Who are the top 30 people in your life? And as the circle expands, what are the different layers for your life? What is something that somebody has to have to be in your circle? What are the values that you have in your life? And we make them do self-reflective things that are going to make them evaluate who they are, because in the end, you can't make a good choice unless you're being self-reflective and evaluate the prism in which you're making that choice. And so I would say all the things I do with our players, and really anything I'm doing in general with trying to make an impact in this culture, is around being a better decision maker, because you can't be with someone all the time to make choices for them and do it for them. You have to make them a better decision maker, so when the heat's on and the speed's up, they make good choices. So we're not winners or losers. We are born choosers, right? And you make your choices, and your choices make you. So I think in the big picture, everything I'm doing is about making choices and trying to help them have a better prism to make those choices.
And I know as a character coach, you know, you don't want to share personal anecdotes with specific players, but I just would like to brag on someone that I don't think the listeners get to hear enough about. Matthew Slater is just a great human. Everything I hear, Matthew Slater, great guy. Patriots have so many high character guys on the team. When you think about your time with the Patriots and these high character players, do you have a highlight or a part of your career where you thought, man, that was cool, being on the sideline, winning that Super Bowl, or maybe it was somebody like Matthew Slater doing work in the community, or maybe a charity event you participated in? Was there a highlight during your 5 years with the Patriots?
You know, I don't think there was one specific moment where I would say, you know what, this is why I was here. I will say, when Matthew won the award that they give out for character to all of the NFL Athletes in Action gives out a character award each year, and basically what they do is they have Bart Starr, they call it the Bart Starr Award, but they have Bart Starr's wife call the recipient, and they like to do it like with the owner or the GM or you know, maybe specifically the head coach. Well, for us, we were in the playoffs, and and so I kind of tricked up and had a Bible study that we were going to have, and I filled the entire room with all of Matthew's best friends and teammates, and I had basically had her call me on the speakerphone and give Matthew the award in front of, let's just call it 30 of his teammates. And so
Wow.
It was one of those moments where, he was emotional, and then his dad had also won that award when his dad played for the Rams. And so that was a moment where not only did we have 50 people in Bible study that day, which was awesome, but we really celebrated character and the unseen things. We tend to celebrate seen things in our culture, but really one of the things that I've been encouraged by is celebrating unseen things, how people are treated when nobody's watching, how people communicate to try to encourage confidence. And Matthew obviously is, to me, the pillar of that in the sporting world, not just in football, but in the sporting world. He's the epitome of character and what it means to be a true Christ-centered leader in a tough place, in a tough locker room, not just in our building, but just the NFL in general. So I would say that was a moment I'll never forget, because it was kind of a setup / event / celebration of character / team building all at once. But, man, I don't know, man. Our phones would go dead again talking about how awesome my time in New England was, and it was life-changing.
Do you remember getting the call or the email or the text or the invite to become part of the Patriots organization? Do you remember where you were when you got that invite?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do. It's so funny. I've never told this story before to anyone publicly, but I'll never forget. I was in Fort Caswell, North Carolina. I was speaking at a Southern Baptist youth convention, and there's a lady there named Mary Johnson, and Mary Johnson was one of the best. Her husband had left and passed away early in her life, and she had 2 unbelievable boys that were great to her, and her boys played in the band. And so I was speaking, and I got done speaking, and I went for a walk on the beach, and I had a 508 number that was left on my voicemail, and it was Bill. And I'd never met him, and he introduced himself to me on the phone like he was, just a regular old guy. And I called him back, and we just had the most amazing conversation. It was so genuine, and so I never will forget that moment, because it was one of those things where, you're talking like you're talking to the boss you already were working for. You just didn't know it yet, so it was great. It was a great moment and a life-changing moment. And, man, I'll never forget the first time I met Matthew Slater. I'll never forget the first time I met, Devin McCourty. I'll never forget my first hug with Nate Solder. Those are all moments that God, just kind of stopped time for. But I'll never forget when Bill called me, because that was truly life-changing, no question.
Coach Belichick talks a lot about you want to hire character over skill. If all things being considered equal, if a guy's got a lot of skill, low character, go with the character guy. You hear about that all the time. I followed the team long enough to see that play out over decades. You see that consistency there. Let's talk about it on a bigger picture, because I know now you're doing speaking, you're doing leadership training, you have so many things going on. Let's look at it from a bigger perspective as a culture. Where is culture going the wrong way right now, in America specifically, and as it relates to character, and what can we do to correct the course?
Well, I really think that, we never want to evaluate things and say this is wrong, this is right, because usually every decision or everything that happens is a product of other decisions, right? Okay. So we really want to make an evaluation of whether it's culture or team or a person. We need to do a deep dive on what the prisms are that we're making our decisions by. And I think that one of the things that I'm seeing, both in leadership and in really, whether it's specific position leadership like government or companies or people that lead like that, or it's position or just leaders in general, people in families and in businesses that are just interacting in the social realm. I think for what I'm seeing is we just lack the thorough approach of evaluating every nook and cranny of our lives and realizing that you can't relegate character. You can't only put character in part of your lives. You can't only ask hard questions in some things in your lives. You really have to do a deep dive and look at who you are in every circumstance, in every part of your life, every nook and cranny of your building, every nook and cranny of your heart, and really take a thorough look, an x-ray of who you are in all areas. So, man, you may be a great leader in this area, but what about some other areas that may come up? Because what we're seeing in culture is people are celebrated for the one or two things they do well, but then the things they haven't addressed end up costing everybody they lead, whether that's a scandal, whether that's an addiction, whether that's an area where they don't take a real hard look at themselves in the mirror and get over themselves from an ego standpoint. But the truth is that we got to take a harder look at ourselves, and that's me and you and everybody included, to take a more thorough look at every single area, personal relationships, professional relationships, what vernacular we're using, what habits we have, how we carry ourselves, eye contact, body language, saying please and thank you, all the things that we've all heard growing up and many people have heard just in general. But I just think we need a more thorough look. I don't think it's one thing that the culture's missing. I don't think it's one thing that the culture said, all we got to do is this. I think it's about being more thorough. I think our leaders need to be thoroughly vetted so that when they get in charge, they can give a charge and not just be in charge.
There is there's just a lot of opportunity for you now. You're in a time of transition where I'm sure a lot of teams are reaching out to you. I know the organizations are asking you to speak. What do you see over the next 12 months? What do you feel like God's looking for you to do over the next 12 to 18 months? Maybe what do you feel like you're called to do? Just talk to us about what do you see the Jack Easterby show doing over the next 18 months?
So 12 months. Man, I tell you what, I'm thinking about 12 hours right now.
Got
I think, for my family, I think, and I would ask you, or anybody, if you've got the 12 months plan for your family, I want to see it because I don't know how many people can do 12 months and 15 months at a time in this day and age. But we as a family are just evaluating some things, and we're looking to see where can we serve and where can we come alongside some people that we know are being willing to use the gifts that God's given us and serve. And again, our time in New England was absolutely awesome. But just looking to serve and to continue to learn. And but we're not going to rush that. We're not looking to copy and paste. We're looking to just continue on this journey. God's given us a few assignments here at Jacksonville and South Carolina and Kansas City and now New England. And we're just wanting to learn. We'll learn, serve, do everything we can do to leave each person better than we found them.
Will you ever go into full-time ministry as a pastor? You ever see that in your future, maybe 20 years down the road, 10 years down the road?
I don't know. I love the church. One of my best friends is a pastor here in Massachusetts. I don't know. I love God's Word. I love teaching Scripture, and I think our culture needs people who have values and lead with conviction. But I don't know. I haven't nailed that down yet. It's intriguing, but I couldn't tell you what 15 years from now holds.
Well, I know that a lot of people want to hire you to speak, and on YouTube you can see examples of you speaking. If somebody who does want to get a hold of you for speaking, are you doing that right now? Is that something you're open to? Or?
Yeah, I have several opportunities to share, and willing, the same way you guys did our contact is just thegreatestchampion.org, thegreatestchampion.org. And we have a staff there that get back to you, and that's our foundation where we do orphan scholarships and we do camps for churches and mainly in South Carolina for basketball camps. And then we also do character curriculums for coaches that are trying to lead. And we believe in the way that makes a difference through character and leadership development. But that's where we go there and trying to do a few things, but not overwhelmed.
Got it.
Or not trying to get overwhelmed by any sort of speaking tour. Just want to serve and do right by people and use the opportunities we've been given to make a difference.
Jack, Patriots fullback James Devlin has described you in a USA Today article saying, before every game, and I mean every game, he comes to each of us and tells us he appreciates us. Why do you do that?
I'll tell you, pregame in any sport is and you've probably been a part of a lot of sports where pregame or when you're in a golf round, warming up or anything, there's always a element of ritualistic performance by everybody. It's you got your verses you read, and you got your tape that you put on your arm, and you got your certain eye black that you wear or whatever. For me, I've always thought if we go on the playing field, no matter what we're doing, if we go on the playing field, I just want every single person I'm interacting with to know that I'm thankful for them, if I can. And, again, time doesn't always allow for that. But I just want them to know I'm thankful for them, because I think if they're going to play and give all they got, the best thing they could know is that they're, again, going back to love and truth, is that they're cared for and that they're gifted, and that the gifts that they have been given to them by a giver who wants to bring glory to his name through their gift. And so I try to just thank them, man. Hey, thank you for who you are. Thanks for the man you are. Have fun today. And just try to make sure that authentic interaction will wash off any pressure or any outside influence that may be distracting.
Matthew Slater is not a household name for most people unless you're an obsessive Bill Belichick fan like I am. But Matthew Slater's not a name that most families know. But yet he's the captain of the team, special teams specialist there. In the locker room celebrations, he brings it in there to the team, brings it in with everybody as you guys celebrate and you yell, "Oh, yeah," together, Before him, Teddy Bruschi had the honors of doing that. Can you talk about the post-game celebration of the "Oh, yeah" and what that's all about?
I'll tell you this, Matthew does an awesome job with that. He really does. It's one of those things you pour into, and I think the NFL specifically, people see you pour into the week all week long, and no one sees practice on Wednesday and film study early in the morning, these guys lifting weights and running together and all that. They just see the 3 hours or 4 hours on Sunday. And I think that's the culmination, that moment where Matthew shares with the team about how hard their work was this week, how much he appreciates everybody in there, and as a captain, how he cares that all of them understand the power they have of influence and leadership in the community and over their families. And when they give that all, it's everybody agreeing that, man, we put it in and let's do it again next week. It's a great tradition. I love that. That
the Patriots, obviously, you guys are obsessed with practice and preparation over there. Can you share with the listeners about the hills? What these hills are? They're kind of legendary. If you do a little bit too much time searching online, you can discover the hills and the legend of the hills and the Patriots practice. What are the hills all about?
Well, I think, any coach wants to do things to grow his team, and I think that one of the things we've done here is opportunity to run some hills and after practice, during training camp, during, certain specific times to get better. And Moses Cabrera, our strength and conditioning coach, and Bill and others thought that's the best way to continue to develop a mental and physical and emotional and, growth process. And, so it's not that complex. It's just a little hill, but just like other things in life, sometimes it's simple, but it's what makes you get over the hurdle to continue to get better.
Now, my final three questions for you. On the Patriots, there's appears to be a strict no fighting rule and a strict don't talk trash about the other team rule. If you watch a Patriots interview, when they interview the players, the reporters are always fishing for antagonistic statements they can use against the other team, the headlines. And the Patriots just don't participate in that. It seems like every single player does not ever speak negatively about the other team and there's not a lot of fights in practice. Is that intentional or is that just a random thing that happens?
Well, I think that speaks to the kind of people you have, right? I mean, that's not one person's decision. You're talking about a litany of a wide myriad of people that, have made that same choice. So that shows you that the culture is intact, that people, don't see benefit in slandering other people and creating a bunch of nonsense that's going to be out there for no reason. And also shows you that no business in fighting your teammate. Let's save that and let's work on the techniques we need to get better so that we can go fight the opponent. I think that really speaks more to the character of the men in the locker room and Bill's leadership.
Now, you on the Patriots, you guys are very intentional, and you come across as a very intentional person individually. Well, how do you typically spend the first 4 hours of your day? And what time do you wake up every day?
Oh, that's a good question. So I get up at different times throughout the year. During the season, it's usually 4:35. I'm in the building and reading my Bible and starting to find a way to put notes out in chairs and encourage guys. And I think for me, the first couple hours is about energy to continue to get the day going for the players and coaches and get around as many people as I can. And then in the afternoon or in the next 2 hours, it becomes real functional, right? Knocking out a lot of to-dos and meetings with our staff and making sure we got what we need while the players are meeting with their coaches. And then we do all the support staff stuff. And then, as it gets to practice, go to practice and make sure that goes well. And then after practice, the personal stuff, the relationships with the guys and meeting with them personally one-on-one and helping any meetings we may need to have to help make sure nothing's in the way of them being the best they can be. And then in the evening, serving the coaches, if that's getting coffee, if that's doing anything we can do to help them have fun and be who they're called to be and who they think they need to be, and prepare them for helping us be prepared to win on game day. So, the first 4 hours, I would say, 5 o'clock, getting going in the office by 5 and rolling. But, it just depends on the day for what we're really trying to do from a systematic standpoint.
If you get to work at 5, have you ever beat Bill Belichick to work?
No.
Have you ever left at 2 a.m. just to see if have you ever left after him?
I'll tell you, when you get in a season flow, you're always working, so it's the NFL. Obviously, there's a lot of,
he's mystical.
A lot to do.
I've heard he never leaves the building or never actually gets there. He's just always there.
Well, I'll tell you this, the best leader and amazing mental strength and capacity and vision, and just can't say enough good things about Bill.
Now, final question for you. Books. Our listeners love to read books, love to read actionable books, principle books, books about leadership, vision, management, entrepreneurship, business, character, the gamut. If you could recommend 2 books, it could be any 2 books for the listeners. What are 2 books that have made a big impact on your life where you would go, you got to buy this book and that book?
If I could just do 2, well, I would always say the Bible, because I think leadership has its origins in the ability to make decisions. You're not a winner or a loser, you're a chooser. And I think the prism in which you make decisions, it will matter most. But I would, I think there are 2 books that I've read. Well, let me give you a few more.
Yeah,
I would say start with The Why.
Start with The Why.
By Simon Sinek. I think that's a good one. I think that Good to Great is a good one by Jim Collins. I think I've read recently Emotional Intelligence 2.0.
Daniel Goleman.
Is a good one. I think
we just had him on the show.
Oh, great. Yeah, I think that's a really good one. I think his how to read others' emotions and understand how they just function. And then I've always, I've been a little bit of an old school Stephen Covey. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I've always liked that. I think there's more than 7 habits of highly effective people, but the 7 that he outlines to me have challenged me as a leader. So those are a few.
Jack, I cannot thank you enough for being on the show today. I know our listeners want to support you, get behind you. Is there a specific website you would encourage everybody to check out, or is there a newsletter you're putting out, or anything where you'd say, hey, the best place to stay in touch with me is to go here?
Yeah, I think, again, just thegreatestchampion.org is our foundation, and our goal is to make a difference through leadership and curriculum and sports and trying to make sure we're influencing influencers. That's the goal. And, again, your podcast does that. I'm thankful to be on here. I'm thankful to be noticed at all by people, because the goal is to serve and do right by those that we influence and interact with, and humbled to be a part of the Patriots, humbled to be a part of all the different teams that South Carolina and Kansas City and Jacksonville have been a part of. And I'm just excited about what God's teaching our family, and we're going to do our best to continue to serve.
Jack, thank you for what you've done with your career, and I know your next stop will be just the beginning of something even greater, my friend. Thank you for being on the show. Thrive Nation, there are so many nuggets of knowledge that you're just not going to find in the typical business college that were unveiled on today's show. But here are a few action items I would encourage you to think about and to just write down here. Get out a sheet of paper. Write down these ideas. We've got 2 action items I want for you to really marinate on. The first one is I would ask yourself, who are you hanging around? You know, there's so many quotes that say, I'm paraphrasing, but Jim Rohn, the best-selling author, R-O-H-N, Jim Rohn, he says that your network is your net worth. We've heard Porter Gale, the former Virgin executive, say the same thing. Your network is your net worth. Tim Ferriss, the best-selling author, the award-winning podcaster, says you become the average of the 5 people that you spend your most time with. Any self-help book, and going back to Napoleon Hill, where he talks about the mastermind, at the end of the day, the people around you become the sort of the average of what you allow into your life, you know, in terms of financial mediocrity, moral character, moral excellence, moral mediocrity, financial integrity, financial mediocrity. Just every aspect of your life really is dictated by the people you spend time with. So be very intentional today about who you're spending time with. And I would encourage you to write down the names of the 5 people that you do spend the most time with in your life. And if you're hanging out with idiots consistently, chances are you too will become a morally deprived idiot. If you're hanging around high character people, chances are you will become a higher character person. Now, action item number 2 is I would encourage you to take a hard look at yourself in every area of your life and to evaluate yourself in the areas of faith, family, finances, fitness, friendship, and fun. Faith, family, finances, fitness, friendship, fun. Is anybody perfect in all these areas? No. We all know people who are super physically fit, people that are in great shape physically, who are just the biggest jerks. We know people that are financially well off, that are in a bad shape physically. We know people who are the best of friends, but the worst of providers, right? We all know these things. But let's look at ourselves for a second and say, in what area am I dropping the ball? In what area could I improve? Who am I talking to? How am I talking? How am I thinking? How am I saying things? It's just so important to look in the mirror and to become very clear about where you're at. If you cannot be transparent with yourself, if you can't know thyself, it's very hard to improve yourself, right? Well, a lot of times we take selfies and we optimize the photo and we post it. But let's ask ourselves, where are we at right now in the areas of our faith, of our family, our finances, our fitness, our friendship, and our fun? And those are the action items I would have for you today. And if you learned something from today's show, or if you're a Patriots fan, or if you're somebody who just says, Clay Clark, I appreciate you putting these shows together. Or maybe you say, Clay, I don't even like you, but I like the team you have. I like the team of people that helps you produce this show. If you learned something today and you could find 5 to 10 seconds to share this with somebody on Twitter, on Facebook, via text or email, it would mean the world to myself and the entire Thrivetime show team. And we like to end each and every show with a boom. And so now without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom.
Gosh, man, time flies. I'd say right around 4 or 5 years ago, I just kind of felt like we were stuck and my wheels weren't moving, and I had this goal and I just didn't really know how to get there. So you guys actually helped me with that. And, I reached out to you guys. We started our relationship. We started our coaching sessions, and you guys helped me build a lot of the systems that we have now. But, Clay, had I not actually sat down and took the time and the energy to reach out to you and then set aside time every single week to actually work on the specific goal of scaling Window Ninjas, then it would have never happened, and we wouldn't have it wouldn't have come to fruition like it is today.
Gabe Salinas, welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
I am wonderful, Clay. I'm glad to be here with you today.
And just to give people a little context, how long have we worked with you in your business, sir?
A little over 3 years, Clay. We've been together for a little bit of a journey now.
And I think we picked the best of times and the worst of times to work together. I mean, it's like right at the peak of the geopolitical craziness. That's when we started working with you. But you've continued to grow. What kind of growth have you seen over these past 3 years? Just so the listeners know that you do have, in fact, a business that can navigate through difficult times.
Well, we have over doubled our business here at Window Ninjas since working with you. I actually went back and looked through our numbers, and I looked at some of our goals that we had set in the original conversation that I had with your team. And we have surpassed my original number that I wanted to hit with you guys. And I was quite shocked at how I won't say easy, but systematic it was for us to be able to get to where we wanted to be.
So, information is key. Making sure you're following the process when it comes to marketing accurately and repetitively is something that we do over here. And we have really, really, really scaled it to the next level. And you know what, Clay? You guys are the ones that taught us that in the beginning. And we have followed through with that for over the past, 4 or 5 years now that we've been working together. We have spent the last 7 years scaling this business, and we have these checklists in place with the help from your team, Clay, and it just creates success for all of our customers, all of our franchisees, me here in my corporate office, all of our call center employees, our accounting department, all of our leadership teams. I mean, it really, really, really solves a lot of problems. And so as opposed to trying to reinvent the wheel, man, just grab a checklist that somebody has already taken the time and the energy to develop for you, use it, and then master it, and then reap the benefits with the revenue that you're going to earn from doing those specific things that are on that checklist. It's super powerful, Clay. It's the best thing. I mean, I know that I can come into this office whenever I want, whether if I want to be here at 7 o'clock in the morning or if I don't want to be here at 7 o'clock in the morning. I know that I'm going to have people that are going to be here doing the specific tasks that everybody in this operation needs them to specifically do. Having good key people is important. Are you going to lose some of your key people? Absolutely. But if you are always looking for great individuals, great people, and encourage them to come work for you, and then you teach them the systems, and you teach them what their specific job is, and you let them know how important they are. Clay, well, first of all, thank you for having me again today. We've been doing this for quite a while. I've been working with you for quite a while. Anybody out there that's looking for a coaching system, I would definitely give Clay a call.
You could be anywhere doing a lot of different things, but you chose to be here.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I've definitely learned a lot about life design and making sure the business serves you. The linear workflow for us and getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. Like we have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls, figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. I literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side. Play is hilarious. I literally laughed so hard that I started having tears yesterday. And we've been learning a lot, which, you know, we've been sitting here, we've been learning a lot, and so the humor definitely helps. It breaks it up. But the content is awesome, off the charts, and it's very interactive. You can raise your hand. It's not like you're just listening to the professor speak, you know. The wizard teaches, but the wizard interacts and he takes questions, so that's awesome. If you're not attending the conference, you're missing about 3/4 to half of your life. You're definitely, it's probably worth a couple $1,000s. So you're missing the thought process of someone that's already started like 9 profitable businesses. So not only is it a lot of good information, but just getting in the thought process of Clay Clark or Dr. Zellner or any of the other coaches, getting in the thought process of how they're starting all these businesses, to me, just that is priceless. That's money. Well, we're definitely not getting upsold here. My wife and I have attended conferences where where it was great information and then they upsold us like half the conference, and I don't want to like bang my head into a wall, and she's like banging her head into the chair in front of her. Like, it's good information, but we're like, oh my gosh, I want to strangle you. Shut up and go with the presentation that we paid for. And that's not here. There's no upsells or anything, so that's awesome. I hate that. It makes me angry. So glad that's not happening. So the cost of this conference is quite a bit cheaper than business college. I went to a small private liberal arts college and got a degree in business. And I didn't learn anything like they're teaching here. I didn't learn linear workflows. I learned stuff that I am not using, and I haven't been using for the last 9 years. So what they're teaching here is actually way better than what I got at business school. And I went what was actually ranked as a very good business school. I would definitely recommend that people would check out the Thrive 15 conference. The information that you're going to get is just very, very beneficial, and the mindset that you're going to get, that you're going to leave with, is just absolutely worth the price of a little bit of money and a few days worth of your time.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right?
So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
The Thrivetime Show, 2-day interactive business workshops, are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
All right. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring up my good friend Ryan Wimpy, and his dog Odin. This dog has the ability to eat me, so I'm sort of concerned. I'll pass the mic to you, and Odin, you can have your own mic if you want, whatever you want, Odin. Okay, I'm a little bit afraid of Odin.
Hi, I'm Ryan Wimpy.
And I'm Rachel Wimpy, and the name of our business is Tip Top Canine.
Our business is a dog training business. We help people with behavioral issues and teach their dog how to listen. When I was learning to become a dog trainer, we didn't learn anything about internet marketing or advertising or anything at all. Just dog training. And that's what's so great about working with Clay and his team, because they do it all for us.
So that we can focus on our passion, and that's training dogs. Clay and his team here, they're so enthusiastic. Their energy is off the charts. Never a dull moment here at Thrive.
We've been working with Clay and his team for the last 5 months, 2 of which have been our biggest months ever. 1, our biggest gross by 35%. Clay's helped us make anything from brochures to stickers, new business cards, new logos, scripts for phones, script for email, script for text message, scripting for everything.
How I would describe the weekly meetings with Clay and his team are awesome. They're so effective. It's worth every minute. Things get done. We'll ask for things like different flyers, and they're done before our hour is up. So it's just awesome, extremely effective.
If you don't use Clay and his team, you're probably going to be pulling your hair out, or you're going to spend half of your time trying to figure out the online marketing game and producing your own flyers and marketing materials, print materials, all the stuff like that. You're really losing a lot as far as lost productivity and lost time. Not having a professional do it, it has a real sense of urgency and that actually knows what they're doing when you already have something that's your core focus that you already know how to do.
You would also be missing out with all the time and financial freedom that you would have working with Clay and his team.
We would recommend Clay and his team to other business owners because they need to be working on their business, not just trying to figure out the online game, which is complex and changing daily. So no one has a marketing team too. Most people don't. They can't afford one, and their local web guy or a local person that they know probably can't do everything that a whole team and a whole floor of people can do in hours and not just weeks or months. There's a definite sense of urgency with Clay and his team. I used to have to ride other web people, really ride them to get stuff done, and stuff is done so fast here, and there's a real sense of urgency to get it done.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
Okay, Aaron Antis, March 6th and 7th. March 6th and 7th, guess who's coming to Tulsa, Jerusalem?
Ooh, Santa Claus?
No, that's March. March 6th and 7th, you're going to be joined by Robert Kiyosaki.
Robert Kiyosaki.
Best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Probably the best-selling, or one of the best-selling business authors of all time. And he's going to be joined with Eric Trump. He'll be joined by Eric Trump. So we got Eric Trump and Robert Kiyosaki in the same place. Aaron, why should everybody show up to hear Robert Kiyosaki?
Well, you got billions of dollars of business experience between those two, not to mention many, many, many millions of books have been sold. Many, many millionaires have been made from the books that have been sold by Robert Kiyosaki. I happen to be one of them. I learned from the man. He was the inspiration. That book was the inspiration for me to get the entrepreneurial spirit, as many other people.
Now, since you won't brag on yourself, I will. You've sold billions of dollars of houses, am I correct?
That is true.
And the book that kickstarted it all for you,
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the author, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, the guy that kickstarted your career.
Yeah.
He's going to be here.
I'm pumped.
And now Eric Trump, people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. There's not 50 employees. The Trump organization, again, most people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. And while Donald J. Trump was the 45th president of these United States and soon to be the 47th president of these United States, he needed someone to run the companies for him. And so the man that runs the Trump organization for Donald J. Trump, as he was the 45th president of the United States and now the 47th president of the United States, is Eric Trump. And so Eric Trump is here to talk about time management, promoting from within, marketing, branding, quality control, sales systems, workflow design, workflow mapping, how to build. I mean, everything that you see, the Trump hotels, the Trump golf courses, all their products, the man who manages billions of dollars of real estate and thousands of employees is here to teach us how to do it.
You are talking about one of the greatest brands on the planet from a business standpoint.
Right.
I mean, who else has been able to create a brand like the Trump brand? I mean, look at it. And this is the man behind the business for the last pretty much since 2015. he's been the man behind it. So you're talking, we're into 9 going into 10 years of him running it, and we get to tap into that knowledge. That's going to be amazing.
Now, think about this for a second. Would you buy a ticket just to see Robert Kiyosaki and Eric Trump? Of course you would.
Of course you would.
But we're also going to be joined by Sean Baker. This is the best-selling author, the guy who invented the carnivore diet.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Sean Baker. He's been on Joe Rogan multiple times. He's going to be joining us. So you've got Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Eric Trump, Sean Baker. The lineup continues to grow, and this is how we do our tickets here at the Thrivetime Show. If you want to get a VIP ticket, you can absolutely do it. It's $500 for a VIP ticket. We've always done it that way. Now, if you want to take a general admission ticket, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. And the reason why I do that, and the reason why we do that, is because we want to make our events affordable for everybody. I grew up without money. I totally understand what it's like to be in a tight spot. So if you want to attend, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. That's how I do it. And it's $500 for a VIP ticket. Now, we only have limited seating here. With the most people we've ever had in this building was for the Jim Brewer presentation. Jim Brewer came here, the legendary comedian Jim Brewer came to Tulsa, and we had 419 people that were here. 419 people.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, there's no more room. I felt kind of bad that a couple people had VIP seats in the men's restroom. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. But I thought, you know what, we should probably add on. So we're adding on what we call the upper deck, or the top shelf. So the seats are very close to the presenters, but we're actually building right now. We're adding on to the facility to make room to accommodate about another 30 attendees or more. So again, if you want to get tickets for this event, all you have to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. When you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you'll go there, you'll request a ticket, boom. Or if you want to text me, if you want a little bit faster service, you say, I want you to call me right now. Just text my number. It's my cell phone number, my personal cell phone number. We'll keep that private between you, me, everybody. We'll keep that private. In anybody. Don't share that with anybody except for everybody. That's my private cell phone number. It's 918-851-0102. 918-851-0102. I know we have a lot of Spanish-speaking people that attend these conferences, and to be bilingually sensitive, my cell phone number is 918-851-0102.
That is not actually bilingual. That's just saying Juan for a one. It's not the same thing.
I think you're attacking me. Now, let's talk about this. Now, what kind of stuff will you learn at the Thrivetime Show workshop? So, Aaron, you've been to many of these over the past 7-8 years. So let's talk about it. I'll tee up the thing, and then you tell me what you're going to learn here, okay?
Okay.
You're going to learn marketing and branding. What are we going to learn about marketing and branding?
Oh, yeah. We're going to dive into, so many people say, I got to get my brand known out there, like the Trump brand, right? You want to get that brand out there. It's like, how do I actually make people know what my business is and make it a household name? You're going to learn some intricacies of how you can do that.
You're going to learn sales. So many people struggle to sell something. This just in, your business will go to hell if you can't sell. So we're going to teach you sales. We're going to teach you search engine optimization, how to come up top in the search engine results. We're going to teach you how to manage people. Aaron, you have managed, no exaggeration, hundreds of people throughout your career and thousands of contractors, and most people struggle with managing people. Why does everybody have to learn how to manage people?
Well, because first of all, you either have great people or you have people who suck, and so it can be a challenge. Learning how to work with a large group of people and get everybody pulling in the same direction can be a challenge. But if you have the right systems, you have the right processes, and you're really good at selecting great ones, and we have a process we teach about how to find great people. When you start with the people who have a great attitude, they're teachable, they're driven, all of those things, then you can get those people all pulling in the same direction.
So we're going to teach you branding, marketing, sales, search engine optimization. We're going to teach you accounting. We're going to teach you personal finance, how to manage your finance. We're going to teach you time management. How do you manage your time? How do you get more done during a typical day? How do you build an organization if you're not organized? How do you do organization? How do you build an org chart? Everything that you need to know to start and grow a business will be taught during this 2-day interactive business workshop. Now, let me tell you how the format is set up here. And again, folks, this is a 2-day interactive 15. Think about this, folks. It's 2 days. Each day it starts at 7 a.m. and it goes until 5 p.m. So from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., 2 days. It's a 2-day interactive workshop. And the way we do it is we do a 30-minute teaching session, and then we break for 15 minutes for a question and answer session. So, Aaron, what kind of great stuff happens during that 15-minute question and answer session after every teaching session?
I actually think it's the best part about the workshops, because here's what happens. I've been to lots of these things over the years. I've paid many thousands of dollars to go to them. And you go in there and they talk in vague generalities, and they're constantly upselling you for something, trying to get you to buy this thing or that thing or this program or this membership. And you leave not getting your very specific questions answered about your business or your employees or what you're doing on your marketing. And what's awesome about this is we literally answer every single question that any person asks, and it's very specific to what your business is.
And what we do is we allow you as the attendee to write your questions on the whiteboard.
Yep.
And then we literally, as you mentioned, we answer every single question on the whiteboard. And then we take a 15-minute break to stretch and to make it entertaining when you're stretching. And this is a true story. When you get up and stretch, you'll be greeted by mariachis. There's going to probably be alpaca here, llamas, helicopter rides, a coffee bar, a snow cone. There's just...
You had a crocodile one time. That was pretty interesting.
You know, I should write that down and actually do that.
Sorry for that one guy that we lost.
The crocodile, we duct taped its face so that we duct taped.
No, it was a baby crocodile.
And it was duct tape.
Yeah, duct tape around the mouth so it didn't bite anybody. But it was really cool passing that thing around and petting
I should do that. We have a small petting zoo that will be assembled. It's going to be great. And then you're in the company of hundreds of entrepreneurs. So there's not a lot of people in America today. In fact, there's less than 10 million people today, according to U.S. Debt Clock, that identify as being self-employed. So if you have a country with 350 million people, that means you have less than 3% of our population that's even self-employed. Yeah. So you only have 3 out of every 100 people in America that are self-employed to begin with. And when Inc. magazine reports that 96% of businesses fail by default, you have a 1 out of 1,000 chance of succeeding in the game of business.
It's tough.
But yet the average client that you and I work with, we can typically double this. And this is no hyperbole, no exaggeration. And I have thousands of testimonials to back this up. We have thousands of testimonials to back it up. But when you work with a home builder, when I work with a business owner, we can typically double the size of the company within 24 months.
Yeah.
Double. And you say double? Yeah, there's businesses that we have tripled. There's businesses we've grown 8x. There's so many examples you can see at thrivetimeshow.com. But again, this is the most interactive, best business workshop on the planet. This is objectively the highest rated and most reviewed business workshop on the planet. And then you add to that Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You add to that Eric Trump, the man that runs the Trump Organization. You add to that Sean Baker. Now you might take, but Clay, is there more? I need more. Well, okay, Tom Wheelwright is the wealth strategist for Robert Kiyosaki. So people say, Robert Kiyosaki, who's his financial wealth advisor? Who's the guy who manages, who's his wealth strategist? His wealth strategist, Tom Wheelwright, will be here. And you say, Clay, I'm not going to get a ticket unless you give me more. Okay, fine. We're going to serve you the same meal both days. True story. We cater in the food, and because I keep it simple, I literally bring him the same food both days for lunch. It's Ted Escondido's, an incredible Mexican restaurant. That's going to happen. And Jill Donovan, our good friend, who is the founder of Rustic Cuff. She started that company in her home, and now she sells millions of dollars of apparel and products. That's rusticcuff.com. And someone says, I want more. This is not enough.
Give me more.
Okay. I'm not going to mention their names right now because I'm working on it behind the scenes here. But we've got one guy who's given me a verbal to be here. And this is a guy who's one of the wealthiest people in Oklahoma, and nobody really knows who he is because he's built systems that are very utilitarian, that offer a lot of value. He's made a lot of money in the, it's where you rent. It's short term. It's where you're renting storage spaces. He's a storage space guy. He owns the. What do you call that? The rental.
Storage space.
Storage units. This guy owns storage units. He owns railroad cars. He owns a lot of assets that make money on a daily basis, but they're not like customer facing. Most people don't know who owns the mini storage facility, or most people don't know who owns the warehouse that's passively making money. Most people don't know who owns the railroad cars, but this guy, he's given me a verbal that he will be here, and we just continue to add more and more success stories. So if you're out there today and you want to change your life, you want to give yourself an incredible gift, You want a life-changing experience. You want to learn how to start and grow a company. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go there right now. thrivetimeshow.com. Request a ticket for the 2-day interactive event. Again, the day here is March 6th and 7th. March 6th and 7th, we just got confirmation. Robert Kiyosaki, best-selling author, Rich Dad Poor Dad, he'll be here. Eric Trump, the man who leads the Trump organization. It's going to be a blasty blast. There's no upsells. Aaron, I could not be more excited about this event.
I think it is incredible. And there's somebody out there right now, you're watching and you're like, but I already signed up for this incredible other program called Smoke Your Way to Thin. You think that's going to change your life? I promise you, this will be 10 times better than that.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
Now, don't do the Smoke Your Way to Thin conference. That is, I've tried it. Don't do it.
Yeah, chain smoking is not a viable. I mean, it is life-changing. It is life-changing. If you become a chain smoker, it is life-changing.
Not the best weight loss program, though.
Right, really. So if you're looking to have life-changing results in a way that won't cause you to have a stoma, get your tickets at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's Aaron Antis. I'm Clay Clark, and reminding you and inviting you to come out to the 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show workshop right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I promise you, it will be a life-changing experience. We can't wait to see you right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.